Hi everyone, my name is Colleen. If you're new to this channel, welcome. Today's video is a little bit different than the normal things I record on this channel. My channel usually focuses on stationery, fountain pens, in particular Japanese stationery, scrapbooking, card making, paper crafts, things like that. But for my followers that usually have followed me through all these years, I promised a mini life update. And so with that comes a kitchen overhaul that we're doing. So I thought I'd record this video today since most of these items are from Le Creuset, and I would just show what we've decided to do with our kitchen. So the mini life update is, it's kind of big. Our kids moved out within the past year, so we've become official empty nesters or downsizers. And, you know, the past few years as the kids were getting older, you know, my husband kept saying as we looked at different things in the kitchen, when the kids move out, you know, we'll replace this. When the kids move out, we'll replace that. So we've had, you know, our pots and pans and various things in the kitchen for over 25 years. And they've gone through the experimentation of our kids cooking. So it was time to get some new things. Also, during the pandemic was really our first time owning a Dutch oven of any sort. So we had just a like knockoff Dutch oven from JCPenney, and it worked. And we were, you know, we used that over and over for sourdough making and all kinds of things during the pandemic. And we didn't really treat it with the greatest of care, in part because we didn't really know what we were doing to begin with. So we used some tools on it and got it scratched. You know, it'd been through a move, so it got chipped. So there were different things that happened to it. So now that I feel like I've gotten over the learning curve of what it's like to have a cast iron enamel Dutch oven and how to care for it properly, I've gotten the real deal, the original Le Creuset this time. So we'll do the unboxing and I'll just show you one by one the different things that we got for our new kitchen makeover and how they're going to all fit. Okay, so these are kind of big. Let me start with the things that I've already opened. So the acquisition of these things has really been over several months. So in December, they had some good sales from like December 25th to January 5th, somewhere in there. So I was able to find some things then. And then right now they have a spring sale going on. So just little by little, plus we have an outlet in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. It's at the Allen Premium Outlets if you're in the DFW area. All right, so the first things that I knew right away that I was going to have to replace were my tablespoons and my measuring cups. I had probably half of a set of each that were left over. So I decided to get the ones from Le Creuset, and they are just beautiful. They have a lot of weight to them. So they're not like the, you know, plastic ones. They come in 1/8, 1/4, half, 1 teaspoon, and 1 tablespoon. So those are the measurements. I can get it to focus. Those are the measurements for the measuring spoons. And then I also have the measuring cups. And I'm telling you, this one in particular is hefty. So this is the 1 cup. It is just beautiful. This one comes with 1 cup, half cup, 1/3 of a cup, and 1/4 cup. So compared to other sets that you may get, I think my KitchenAid set used to have a 3/4 cup. This one only has 4 instead of 5 that sometimes come with Cuisinart or KitchenAid. All right, so those are the sizes. Now they come with a ring, like a binder clip, a silver binder clip. but you know, it's just never practical to keep it that way. So I don't know if you can tell, but on my fridge, I have fridge magnets I've put up there. Some have used like command strip hooks on the insides of their cabinets, but since I'm short, it's hard for me to reach those and be able to read the labels on them. My baking, what I have behind me are drawers instead of cabinets. So my baking drawer, it didn't make much sense to try to hang these on the inside of the drawer. So instead, I've decided to just hang them on my fridge door back here. So they hang nicely on that fridge door. I'll show you something else that I picked up on Amazon. I got these little hooks, and I'll put the link below because I don't remember the brand or anything, but they're perfect because here's the ring that those things came on. They're perfect because they're tiny. They're tiny, but they're mighty. So they're super strong magnets, but the hook is nice and small. So when I open and close that freezer door, they don't bang around at all. And in part, that's why I turned the measuring cups facing the door itself, because when I open and close, it doesn't bang. It's just, since they're flush against the door already, they do fine that way. The teaspoons, I mean, the measuring spoons, I was able to turn those around because they don't hardly move with this tiny hook. So these are great little hooks. I'll make sure to put my affiliate link below. Let me just mention that if you use any of my affiliate links in any of my videos, they do pay me a small commission, but the price is no different for you. You get the exact same price that I paid. Sometimes even I have a coupon discount that you're able to use that's even better than what I originally paid. All of these items I did buy myself. None of these were given to us from Le Creuset or anything like that. Okay, so we got that out of the way. So a few other things. So at the outlet in Allen, I found this thing. So I was looking for a butter dish. So that's another thing that got destroyed somehow over the years, probably got dropped. And so we haven't had a butter dish in almost 10 years. And I've been using just a plastic butter dish, or I've been using a plate out of, you know, the cabinet and just throw it in the fridge. So I was ready for a real butter dish. But I saw this thing called a butter bell. And what do they call it? I think Le Creuset calls it butter crock. So what happens is it puts a little bit of water in the bottom. There's a line, and then you can put your butter inside of it here. And what happens is that water creates a vacuum seal so that you're able to store this on your counter, and the butter is always room temperature, and you can just spread it right onto your toast. So the nice thing is the bottom of it as well here is flat. So you can set it flat on the table if you wanted to. But what I like about it is I can hold the top, take my knife, spread the butter, and put it back. You know, with a regular butter dish, I don't know how, but somehow the sides get all greasy, and you know, sometimes the butter gets stuck on the rim, and then when you pick it up, and I'm imagining that's how we ended up dropping it at some point, our original one, and it breaking. So this, I have a really firm grip, or I can set it on the table, and then there's no greasy spots because I'm never touching the butter, and it's just great. So you replace the water every 2 to 3 days is what they recommend, so that your butter doesn't go rancid. And I believe you can keep it out for as much as 2 weeks. Now you also always have the option to stick this in the fridge. So if you don't go through butter that quickly, then you can still use this and stick it in the fridge. Pull it out when you have some guests and you want spreadable butter for the dinner rolls that evening for your dinner guests. You can pull it out at that time, and it'll be room temperature ready to go for them. So the next thing I found was this spoon rest. And what I love about this spoon rest is it can hold about any size ladle I have. So the spoon rests I've had in the past were kind of narrow, and my ladles would drip sauce off of the sides of my spoon rest. I hadn't been purchasing a spoon rest that was really big enough for my ladles. They would hold spatulas, but not ladles. So let me show you real quick. So this is the ladle that I usually use for like spaghetti or chili, and you can see there is plenty of drip room on here. And so this one here by KitchenAid, I use to get out shrimp, fried shrimp, or gyoza, pot stickers, things like that. And this one has been a challenge as well, but it fits perfectly. And what I found is when I have used it, it's wide enough that the oil just comes down the sides and drips right onto the dish. So I was really happy to finally have a spoon rest that really holds my ladles, all the drips from the ladles, just great. So a sale item that they've had recently on their website are these little ramekins. So you can buy them individually or you can buy them as a set of 2. So I bought 4. I just love the color so much. In our previous kitchens, my color themes have always been kind of cream and sage green, always kind of that country French theme, which I guess is why Le Creuset has always stood out to me, that I just love the brand so much. I love a country French kitchen. But with the modern colors that are happening right now in a lot of kitchens with the white, black, gray, I wanted to kind of calm all the white down a little bit by adding some color back into the kitchen. So what I've done is we have this new end grain cutting board. This is made by Bare Wood. They're actually a family-owned company that makes end grain cutting boards. I'll link their website below. I got this at the Frisco Home and Garden Show, and it's just beautiful. But I thought it would be perfect, not only as a cutting board, but when we have guests over, I can use it as a charcuterie board. And those little ramekins can hold nuts or jams or other spreads for a tray of some sort, as well as chips and salsa, dips for chips and salsa, dips for fruit, vegetables, things like that. So love the ramekins. I've had some white ones for years, but again, to just add a little bit of color into the kitchen, and especially when we have guests over, I went ahead and got 4 of those. Now over to the big boxes. So the first one here, so the 2 items that are in these boxes, they are made in France, where the original location of Le Creuset is. The stoneware, all the stoneware pieces that I just showed you, those are actually now made in Thailand. But all of their enamel pieces and all of their pieces that are cast iron, these are still made in France. So on the boxes, they have the original color, which is called Flame. That's the one that they became famous for with Julia Child back in the day. This is what she used and made Le Creuset famous. And so it's a trivet. It's a cast iron enameled trivet. So this is almost, imagine turning one of the pots upside down. This is what's usually printed on the bottom of the Le Creuset pots. This color is exclusive to Crate and Barrel. This is called Thyme, Thyme, like the herb. And so the inside, you can see it has the cast iron and it has little rubber feet. So you don't want to, even though it's cast iron, you do not want to put this on your hot stove top because those little rubber feet will melt. So this is a great trivet to just put down, and your Dutch oven will fit perfectly on it. Most of their round Dutch ovens will fit perfectly on it. And I even believe this, because it's so sturdy, that this oval Dutch oven that I got will fit on it fine as well. But I just love this color. So it's a nice decorative piece in the kitchen that can go, anywhere, but it's also a very practical piece that can be used with all the Dutch ovens that Le Creuset makes. Okay, time for the really big one. So this one was on back order for like 2 months. So I've had it on order through Crate and Barrel. Again, this is an exclusive color through Crate and Barrel. The box shows flame, but it's actually in Thyme. Show you the lid first. So this is the 8-quart cast iron enameled Dutch oven in the color Thyme. So it has the beautiful gold knob. It can be put in the oven for up to 500 degrees. Now there are other knobs that are on their other Dutch ovens. Those are oven safe as well. I think it's just a slightly lower temp. I think the black knobs are like 450, whereas this one can go all the way up to 500. Oven, they give us like a little manual on how to use it, and it's in all different languages. I don't really know what's in here yet. Ooh. They give you some ideas of what to cook in it as well. That's a heap of chicken. I would have never thought of doing a whole bunch of chicken pieces like that. So yeah, looking forward to trying out other recipes with this. Comes with a big warning label. They're reminding us that Le Creuset items should not go in the dishwasher. These should be hand washed. Good reminders. I was really surprised how not heavy this is. I mean, it's heavy, but let me put this down real quick. So it is heavy, it has weight to it for sure, but the difference between, say, their 5.5 Dutch oven, the round, versus this, it feels practically the same to me. I don't feel a huge weight difference between the round Dutch oven that I've had for so long and this one, even though this one is a whole 3 quarts larger than what I've used in the past. Minor detail, but something I'm so happy about. The stickers that they use on here actually don't cause damage. You can actually take them off without having to pull out acetone and everything else. But you can see it's printed on the back. This is just a sticker on the front as well, and it is just beautiful. So they give you these little plastic protectors to keep on it. I wouldn't cook with these on here. They actually have some felt protectors that you can use for storage. What you do not want to do is put it this way without felt or a tea towel or something between it. It will scratch the enamel on your cover. So for me, because we have so much counter space, we're actually going to be storing this on our counter back here. And so I don't have to worry about pulling it in and out of a cabinet. I use my Dutch oven so often for almost everything that I cook, whether it be chilies, stews, pot roast, spaghetti, anything fried, say beer battered, anything fried, from shrimp to pot stickers to beer battered fish. I use my Dutch oven for everything. It's a main item that's used all the time. So this will be staying out on the counter or on the stovetop. Has this nice ombre effect to it with the Thyme, and whew, she gets heavy after holding her in the air for a while. But she's beautiful, and she's going to look just like a piece of jewelry on the counters. Nicely, those stickers come off. They leave no residue behind on your pot at all. So she's gonna go over there. So next is the bag of goodies from the outlet store. The outlet, you can get a little bit of a discount, but it's almost the same prices as when you see Amazon having a sale with 30% off on Amazon. You might as well just grab it from Amazon. I'll link them below because it's the same price as the outlet. And there's some items that even the outlet doesn't mark down. I found that they are the exact same price as what is on Amazon. So, you know, whatever's easier for you. If you just want to experience the moment of going to the outlet, by far it's definitely worth a visit. But if you're looking for scoring a deal, honestly, it's not much different than the sales you would see already on Amazon itself. All right, so one thing I got was a much needed knife sharpener. Now, I don't believe this is exclusive to them. I've seen so many other brands that have the exact same style, but this was on a super sale on their website, almost like 70% off. So I went ahead and grabbed it because it was already gonna ship for free with my other stuff. So one thing I learned for sure from using our last Dutch oven is you don't want to use metal spatulas and metal ladles, which is what I did all the time with my other ones. So it'll scratch it up like crazy. So Le Creuset has these ones called Revolution. When they first released them, I didn't like them because they were black and red, which goes great if you have any of their red pots, Flame or what's it called? Rowan or Cerise. Goes great with any of those, but not with this color. So these are much better. So they go with the rest of the kitchen as well. So I got these 3 utensils to use with the Dutch oven in particular. This one is kind of unique in that I think it's kind of discontinued on the US end. You'll notice the packaging is Japanese. Is that Japanese? Yes, it is. So I know it says made in China, but trust me, the language writing is Japanese. So it's interesting. This spatula is only sold in Japan, these wooden ones. So I happened to see it pop up on Amazon one day. So I went ahead and grabbed it. They used to have, I don't know, 3 or 4 different designs of these that were sold in Japan. They're maple. I'll show you the tag here in a second. Yeah, so it's interesting here. It says the exact same thing, maple wood Turner, Tana, in Japanese. So these were initially sold, I guess, only in Japan. And I haven't seen any of the other ones that are sold in Japan show up on Amazon or anything. I've seen a few of them on eBay, but this is the one I really loved. From what I've heard and read on the reviews is that the curve in this fits perfectly in the curve of the Dutch oven. So I wanted to make sure to get one of these. You can use wood or you can use the Revolution products in the Dutch oven. So the reason why this one stood out to me quickly as well is I'm kind of toying with the idea in my head of getting away from things that are plastic, including maybe something like this, because of they're finding more and more studies on microplastics, which is why I ended up with this wood cutting board again as well. So I don't know, we'll see what happens in the future, but I wanted to at least get one from Le Creuset while I could still find it. So they had another trivet that was on sale one day on Amazon called Silicone Trivet. And so again, it has that same printing with it established in 1925, just like the green enamel trivet. So I just thought this would be great to be able to throw on the counter, especially with these, what are these, granite countertops. It's just nice to be able to throw a pot on, or if you have a hot ceramic dish coming out of the oven, you don't necessarily want to put it on a cold stone. Not that it would necessarily damage this stone, but it could damage your actual stoneware. I have had a stoneware pan was it a pan? Casserole crack on me once due to the temperature change from the oven to when I took it out of the oven. So these can kind of help buffer that temperature difference. And so a silicone trivet can be good to use. Mitts in our kitchen. I've had mine for years. They probably need a good wash by now again. And these have worked. They work. But I don't really have this bright of green in my kitchen. This is actually from when we lived in Ecuador. A lot of my items in that kitchen, because our kitchen was similar to this, very white. It was even more white than this kitchen. So I loved that pop of green in there. And I still like this color, but it's just not the color that I dominantly have anymore. And then I've used these for years. You can tell they've seen some better days. These are from Cuisinart. And they just, you know, even when you wash them, they end up showing staining after a while. So what I've decided to do is go ahead and keep these for when I take dishes out. Many times we cook for gatherings or cook for friends and family, and you know, you're always needing those pot holders and things like that. So I thought these would still be great to take out of the house when we go to those events, and if they get lost, I'm not going to cry too terribly. Le Creuset makes 3 colors, and I chose black because even my silicone one here, you can tell over time, especially in the silicone grooves, it can be kind of hard to get the things out, and they just show dirt more, constantly having to wash those. And so this, with it being black, should be much better. So this is a lot thicker, more similar to my Pampered Chef ones that I had for years. Those got so stained, I threw those away probably about 6 or 7 years ago. About the time that I got these, I replaced them with these, but these are thinner. And just pulling out stoneware, at times I can feel the heat coming through, like it's warm, it's not hot, but I can feel the heat coming through them. Other times I almost feel like these are melting on the pot. They get sticky, and maybe that's just because it's silicone. But I definitely don't want it sticking to my new Dutch oven. So I wanted to try these by Le Creuset. They're a little bit longer. They have more padding in them. They're almost warm on the inside because they're so thick. Now, just to warn you, they are, when you order them, per mitt. So only this. All the others come with a set of 2, but these you have to order separately. So make sure you put 2 in your shopping cart instead of just 1. Ultra, ultra thick. They feel great, and I know I'm not going to feel any heat when I grab the handle. So what this size is great for is when you're moving a pot around on the stove. Not necessarily pulling out of the oven, but just on the stovetop, the handles, the lid, all of those things can get pretty hot. So these are silicone, again, black silicone on the inside, and so they're not going to show that dirt and grime as easily or as quickly. I'll show you the size difference too. So you'll see quite a bit larger than my Cuisinart ones that I've had for years, and definitely a lot thicker. So these have been great, but again, I can feel the warmth through this. These, I can tell I'm not going to feel a thing. These little oven mitts by Le Creuset. So with these, they're even less cumbersome. You just slide your hand in, and it's just to, you know, do that real quick movement on the stove to move it around, or to grab a handle real quick, or a knob to grab the lid. This is super lightweight. You know, if you're not wanting to use anything heavy. So feels like Pac-Man. Remember those little paper Pac-Mans we'd make with notes? So yeah. So again, these come as a set of 2. They have 3 different colors. One is like a beige, the other one is a gray, and all of this is light gray. So that's why I opted for this black, because I was afraid that the light gray was just going to show dirt really, really quickly, especially tomato sauce. You know, everything I do in my Dutch oven is so dark. Pot roast, I use red wine. Spaghetti sauce, obviously red and red wine. Yeah, so many things are so dark or red. So I wanted to get something that, you know, is not going to show all that staining as much. So that's it for my unboxing. I'll show a few pictures of how things look in the kitchen and how they're stored. And I hope you enjoyed this video. If you love Le Creuset items and you do unboxings, please comment below. I'd love to see what you've had and what you've collected over the years. I know some collect multiple colors, multiple pots. And, you know, for me, it was more of just having that one special one that I can use multi-purpose, multifunction. So, and getting the right utensils to use with it as well. So if you're shopping and you're just now looking at Le Creuset, if I had any advice to give, it would be definitely get the correct utensils so that you don't end up scratching and damaging your pot. Be careful about how you store it, especially the lid. Don't flip it upside down on itself. And then make sure to get yourself some good mitts that can handle the heat, because these pots can go in the oven for up to 500 degrees. All right, well, thanks for visiting the channel today. And if you have any questions, feel free to comment below, and I'll see you on the next one. All the links are posted below. If I missed any, feel free to leave a comment and I'll see if I can find that link for you. Thanks for watching.